It was supposed to be a regular episode of The View. The lights were dimming, the audience was settling in, and the hosts were preparing for their usual banter. But that evening, a spark would be lit, one that no one could have predicted. In the center of the storm stood Whoopi Goldberg, the iconic actress and outspoken liberal. Known for her sharp wit and bold opinions, Whoopi had been stirring the pot for years. But this time, she went too far. Her off-the-cuff comments on live television would send shockwaves across the globe, and directly into the very heart of Silicon Valley. What came next would be nothing short of explosive. Elon Musk, the billionaire mastermind behind Tesla and SpaceX, found himself thrust into a legal battle that no one could have imagined. It all started with a single, seemingly innocuous remark from Whoopi. In a moment of frustration, she lashed out at Musk, accusing him of everything from irresponsible business practices to fostering a climate of elitism. And in a dramatic turn of events, the unthinkable happened. Musk, the tech mogul known for his social media feuds and unwavering confidence, decided to take action. He sued her. Yes, Elon Musk, the genius whose name had become synonymous with innovation, launched a lawsuit against Whoopi Goldberg, the beloved TV personality. The entire world watched in stunned silence as the billionaire took a stand against one of Hollywood's most influential liberals. No one had ever seen him so personally involved in a public feud. This wasn't just a matter of words anymore. This was an all-out legal war that would put two of the most powerful figures in the public eye on a collision course. The stage was set for an unprecedented battle, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. Would Musk be able to silence Whoopi's outspoken views? Or was the force of her words too much for even him to overcome? As the news spread like wildfire, the world held its breath, eager to see what would happen next. The saga of Elon Musk versus Whoopi Goldberg was about to unfold, and no one could have predicted the twists and turns that lay ahead. The feud began innocently enough, or at least, it appeared that way. Whoopi Goldberg, in her usual candid fashion, was giving her opinion on Elon Musk's recent endeavors, particularly his decision to launch a fleet of satellites to connect the most remote parts of the world to the internet. She made an offhand comment, criticizing Musk for his seeming detachment from the real world, claiming he cared more about creating a spacefaring elite than addressing the real-world problems affecting everyday people. She quipped that Musk was more concerned about going to Mars than fixing what's broken here on Earth. At first, the comment seemed like just another spicy remark in the world of celebrity discourse. But as soon as Whoopi's words left her lips, the online world erupted. Social media was ablaze with debates. Was Whoopi right? Or was she unfairly attacking one of the world's greatest innovators? What no one could have predicted was how Elon Musk would respond. Musk had always been a vocal critic of public figures who went after him. From the infamous Twitter rants to his public clashes with journalists and pundits, he was never one to shy away from controversy. But this time, something felt different. As the backlash grew louder, Elon Musk, with his signature boldness, tweeted a single sentence that would set the stage for a confrontation like no other: "I will see you in court, Whoopi." It wasn't just another Musk tweet, it was a declaration of war. For years, Musk had been known for handling online skirmishes with humor and wit, often using his social media presence to poke fun at his critics. But this was different. His decision to take legal action was nothing short of monumental. The news spread like wildfire. Lawyers for both sides began preparing for a battle that no one saw coming. Musk's legal team was swift and relentless. Within days, a lawsuit was filed, accusing Whoopi Goldberg of defamation and claiming that her comments had damaged his reputation. It wasn't just a matter of words anymore. Musk's lawyers argued that Whoopi's comments were harmful to the billion-dollar companies he had built and the vision he was trying to implement for the future of humanity. They demanded an apology and, more importantly, a retraction of her statements on live television. For Whoopi, the reaction was equally swift. Initially, she was caught off guard. Defamation lawsuits were something she never expected to be involved in. But after a brief period of shock, Whoopi's fiery spirit took over. On her next appearance on The View, she didn't back down. "Elon Musk can sue me all he wants," she said with a sharp smile, "but I won't apologize for speaking my truth. If he wants to waste his time in court, that's on him. I stand by what I said." Her words were met with applause from the studio audience. This moment would set the stage for what would become a media frenzy. The clash between the billionaire innovator and the Hollywood legend became the talk of the nation. People picked sides. Some admired Musk for his boldness and vision, while others stood firmly behind Whoopi, who represented the voice of the people, calling out the powerful elites. But as the legal battle intensified, both sides began to realize that the conflict had taken on a life of its own. The stakes were higher than anyone had anticipated. Musk's legal team began to strategize, pulling in some of the top minds in defamation law to strengthen their case. Meanwhile, Whoopi's defenders rallied behind her, claiming that the lawsuit was nothing more than an attempt to silence free speech. Days turned into weeks, and the courtroom became the stage for the most high-profile legal battle of the decade. It wasn't just a matter of money or reputation, it was a battle of ideologies. The courtroom became the battleground between the power of the corporate world and the voice of the everyday citizen. During one tense hearing, Musk himself took the stand. The world watched in anticipation as the CEO, known for his calm, calculated demeanor, answered questions under oath. He was asked about the impact of Whoopi's comments on his business, and whether he believed her statements were harmful enough to warrant legal action. With unwavering composure, Musk responded, "I didn't ask for this fight. But when someone questions your integrity, your work, and your intentions in such a public way, it's hard to let it slide." His answer was cold, calculated, and undeniably powerful. Whoopi, on the other hand, never faltered. When it was her turn to testify, she delivered a passionate defense. "I didn't go after Elon because I wanted to hurt him. I went after him because I care about the world we live in," she said. "We need people like Elon to understand that power should be used to lift others up, not to escape to another planet." Her words resonated deeply with those who believed in her message, while critics dismissed them as naive. The courtroom drama played out like a high-stakes thriller. As both sides presented their arguments, the tension built to a fever pitch. No one knew how it would end, but one thing was certain: the entire world was watching. The tension had been building for weeks, and now, it was all coming to a head. The courtroom was packed with reporters, lawyers, and onlookers, all eager to see what would happen next in the most publicized legal battle of the decade. On one side stood Elon Musk, the billionaire CEO with a reputation for innovation and controversy. On the other side, Whoopi Goldberg, the outspoken activist and Hollywood icon, whose words had sparked this entire firestorm. The stakes were higher than ever. This wasn't just a legal dispute anymore, it was a showdown between two powerful worlds. As the trial reached its climax, a twist no one saw coming occurred. The judge, after weeks of deliberation, called for a surprise recess, giving both parties a final opportunity to settle outside the courtroom. It was a move that shocked everyone in attendance, and all eyes turned to the two stars as they were given a moment to negotiate privately. No one could predict what would happen next. Elon Musk, known for his level-headed decisions in business but a sharp temper when provoked, appeared calm on the surface. But those who knew him best could see the intensity behind his eyes. He had built an empire, a legacy, but the reputation of his work, and the very ideals behind his companies, were being questioned. Whoopi, on the other hand, was as confident as ever, standing her ground. She wasn't afraid to speak her truth, no matter who it offended. She knew the weight of her words had shaken Musk to his core, and in that moment, she realized how much her voice mattered in the public discourse. In the midst of this tense silence, it was Musk who broke the calm. He turned to Whoopi with an unexpected offer. "I'll drop the lawsuit," he said, his voice measured, "but only if you acknowledge one thing." Whoopi raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued. "What's that?" she asked. "That sometimes, the pursuit of progress can come with sacrifices," Musk replied, his words carrying the weight of his vision for the future. "I've spent my life trying to build a future where we can escape the limitations of this planet, but I know I've made mistakes along the way. I've hurt people, and I've made decisions that weren't always for the greater good." His tone softened as he continued, "But I believe in the bigger picture." The room fell silent as Whoopi processed his words. She wasn't expecting this level of vulnerability from Musk, a man who had always projected an image of confidence and control. After a long pause, Whoopi spoke, her voice steady but filled with conviction. "I've always believed that true power comes from accountability," she said. "And while I disagree with your approach, I can see the sincerity in your eyes. You're not just a businessman, you're a human being grappling with big ideas and even bigger consequences." She paused, then added, "I'll acknowledge that." In that moment, the courtroom held its breath. What had seemed like an unresolvable conflict was beginning to de-escalate, and the entire world was witnessing a rare moment of grace between two unlikely adversaries. Elon Musk and Whoopi Goldberg were not just powerful figures in their respective industries, they were now two people who had come face to face with the consequences of their words and actions. And in a twist that no one could have predicted, the fight was over. The lawsuit was dropped, and the media frenzy that had engulfed them both came to an end. What remained was an understanding, albeit a fragile one, that even in the heat of battle, there could be room for reflection and growth. As they both walked out of the courtroom, Musk turned to Whoopi, offering a rare, genuine smile. "Thank you for hearing me out," he said. Whoopi nodded, her eyes reflecting a quiet acknowledgement of the journey they had just taken together. "You're welcome," she replied. And with that, the most talked-about lawsuit in recent history came to a close. The world would continue to debate who had won the war of words, but one thing was certain. This moment of understanding between two public figures would leave a lasting impression on anyone who had been watching. In a world of divisiveness and hostility, the peaceful resolution of this high-profile legal battle was a reminder that even the fiercest conflicts could sometimes end with mutual respect. The courtroom battle may have been over, but the lessons learned from that confrontation were just beginning to take root in the minds of those who had witnessed it. As Elon Musk and Whoopi Goldberg went their separate ways, their fates forever intertwined by this bizarre legal saga, one question lingered in the air. What would the future of celebrity conflicts look like in a world where even the most bitter battles could be resolved with words of understanding? In the aftermath of the court case, the world looked on in awe at what had just unfolded. The lawsuit that once seemed like an unstoppable force of legal warfare had been brought to a quiet and unexpected end. But the real story was never about the courtroom, the money, or the headlines. It was about something far more profound. In a world that thrives on division and conflict, Elon Musk and Whoopi Goldberg had just shown the world something crucial: the power of understanding, humility, and the willingness to listen. This was a story that transcended fame, fortune, and even the fight itself. The final moments in the courtroom, where two people, once bitter adversaries, found common ground, were a testament to something much larger than any legal victory. It was about the choices we make when we're pushed to the edge. When tempers flare and egos collide, it is easy to let pride take over, to let our sense of being right cloud our judgment. But the resolution of this battle offered an inspiring reminder that it's not always about winning or losing. Sometimes, the true victory lies in how we choose to handle our differences. The exchange between Musk and Whoopi showed the transformative power of reflection. While Musk had come to court to defend his work, his ideas, and his legacy, in the end, he found the courage to admit the flaws and imperfections in his mission. For Whoopi, it was not just about standing her ground, but also about acknowledging the deeper motivations behind her criticism. Neither of them left the courtroom unchanged. They both left with a newfound understanding of each other's worlds that seemed so different, yet were bound by the same human struggle for meaning, purpose, and progress. As they walked away from the court, the media frenzy that had once overshadowed their every move began to fade into the background. What remained were the lessons that had emerged from this high-profile clash: the importance of listening, the willingness to learn, and the courage to rise above our own limitations. In this moment, the world saw two public figures, larger-than-life characters who had been at the center of so much controversy, display an uncommon strength, the strength to admit that they didn't have all the answers. For anyone who had been watching, it was a moment of personal growth. It was a call to action. How often do we allow our pride to stand in the way of meaningful dialogue? How often do we refuse to hear the perspectives of others, simply because they don't align with our own? Musk and Whoopi reminded us that there is power in humility, and power in being willing to look beyond our own narrow viewpoints. This story will be remembered not for its legal drama or the names involved, but for the deeper truth it unveiled, that even in the most heated moments, there is always room for grace. The lesson isn't just about resolving conflicts, it's about how we handle ourselves in the midst of them. The true measure of character comes not when we are winning, but when we are forced to pause, reflect, and grow. And in this case, both Musk and Whoopi showed us what it means to be bigger than our egos. As you reflect on the story of Elon Musk and Whoopi Goldberg, ask yourself, what would happen if we all took a moment to listen with empathy, to approach our differences with open hearts, and to acknowledge that we don't always have all the answers? Could we transform our own lives, and the world around us, by embracing understanding over conflict, growth over pride, and collaboration over competition? This was more than just a legal battle. It was a glimpse into the potential for personal transformation that each of us holds. It's time to take those lessons to heart. The world can change when we choose to grow, learn, and lift each other up. Let this be the beginning of something bigger, a new era of connection, understanding, and hope.